We need to build awareness. We need to get found. We need to generate opportunities, and we need to learn and find answers to questions, to new tools to use for recommended suppliers and partners. Really useful. But what networking isn't, and I think this is important to understand because this is kind of where the big fear comes from, that network isn't just about working a room. It's not this fear of having to go and speak to hundreds of people and see what happens. And it's not just about collecting business cards at a face-to-face event. Online, it's not just about collecting connections or people in your group or likes on a page. And it isn't about selling or pitching your services. If we want to do business with people, we have to know, like, trust first. And there are 5 stages of networking. And I think what's really important about networking as well, and something that I like to kind of highlight, is that you have to do this consistently. There can be no kind of yo-yo effect showing up when you need new work and you need new clients or at quieter times. It's got to be something that you consistently do, because at the point that you need work, it could be too late. It could take time. So have something in your plan that you're consistently working towards. So these 5 stages of networking. The first of them is simply, as with any other business activity, to set some goals, to understand why you're doing it, why you're going networking, what you want to achieve. And that leads on to finding your audience. You know, who is it you want to find at these events? Where are you going to find them? What are you going to do when you're there? So set those goals and understand what it is you want to achieve before you search out the events or before you run and attend and spend some time on them. Knowing your audience will help you identify the best events to attend or the best places online to network, whether that's training courses or professional association events, networking groups, volunteering, going to awards events. You know, if you really understand your audience, you'll know where they hang out, so you go and network in those places. And when you are there, when you are at a face-to-face event or when you're on a social media platform, you're there to make connections. Now, this is much more than putting the business card in your pocket. As I said earlier, you know, the business card is the kind of the close of the conversation that allows you to get to that next stage of maintaining those connections and nurturing the relationship, staying in touch effectively. There's no point in coming away from an event or some time on social media going, I've got 5 new connections, that's wonderful, if you don't maintain that. And of course, because you're investing time and energy into networking, it's important to spend some time reviewing and against those goals that you set. Was the time well spent? Was the event the right one to go to? Should you go to it again? Have you got any referrals out of it? How's your networking developing? So preparing to network, really important. And I truly believe that business cards aren't dead. I think business cards are really valuable. People hang on to them. And it's a great way of closing a conversation at a face-to-face event saying, have you got a business card? Can I keep in touch with you? Now, if you're using social media, whether that's to follow up an event or for purely online networking, then it's important that your social media profiles are ready to do business. And I've got some resources for you later on to help with that, because they're so important in making a first impression and telling people what it is that you do. And part of your preparation needs to be about putting time in your calendar, and not just the time for the actual event itself or the actual time you're going to spend on social media, but some specific time before the event, during the event itself, and then after the event for the follow-up. And you need to prepare as well. You can't just rock up and walk into an event. You know, you kind of need to do some research around who's going to be there, what the topic is, what the conversation, who you might meet. And so you need to know the answer to the question, so what do you do? This is the standard question that most people will ask, and your answer could depend upon the event that you're at. You may offer more than one kind of service. You may want to tailor your answer to that question to the people that you know are in the room, or the benefits that you can provide to those people in the room. It's got to be so much more than I'm a marketer. It's got to be about how you can help. And ideally, you could listen first before you answer that question so that you can really make sure things are relevant. As you can see, you need to do this preparation rather than just rock up at the time for a breakfast event or an early evening event. And because this session is about social media and business networking, there's some specific areas that the online tools can offer you as well. And that is, search is hugely it's a wonderful tool on social media, and it's free. Yes, with a LinkedIn Premium account, there is some additional criteria for your search, but it's a great way to find people and to find the conversation starters as well. That opening line at a face-to-face event of what do you do? Online, you can find those conversation starters, whether it's something within a tweet or within a bio or the interest section of a LinkedIn profile. We're always trying to find something to open the conversation. And with social media, it could be that you follow up, you meet these people in real life, you follow up with face-to-face meetings. And it's amazing for nurturing relationships. You meet someone at a face-to-face event, you go back, you connect with them on LinkedIn, you follow them on Twitter. So Twitter and LinkedIn are the main tools that I'm going to talk about over the next few slides of how social media can help with your business networking. And as I said in the agenda as well, I'm going to talk a little bit about groups, and that I find Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups hugely valuable for my business, for generating connections, building trust, and finding referrals as well. So these are just some ideas. This is a short lunchtime session. I just wanted to give some ideas of the 3 stages of an event and how social media can help with that. So before an event, once you've set your goals and you know what kind of event you want to attend and why you're going, you commit to putting that event in your diary, then why not announce on social media that you've registered to attend an event? Tell people what you're doing, what you're working on, and ask if anyone else is attending. That could also be a way of you deciding whether to attend that event or not by asking if anyone else is going, seeing if your target audience are going to be there. And as you're doing your planning and preparation for the event, then why not contact people in advance? Contact exhibitors if it's that kind of event. Contact speakers to say that you're looking forward to hearing them. As a speaker at events, it's brilliant to kind of know in advance who's coming along, and that you can, even reach out and say, why not, let's grab a cup of coffee afterwards and chat it through. Do that preparation and you really can get the most out of your network. And then contact other people who have announced they're attending the event. Again, say you're looking forward to meeting them there, or would you like to grab a coffee afterwards? Ask people what it is they found of interest of the event that they're attending. One of the best ways I find of attending events to go to is really just knowing my target audience and looking for what signals they're giving me. And if one of my target audience or prospects or network is going, then that's an event I would consider attending too. And then the event itself. If you're active on social media, then you can really maximize the effort and the energy that you're putting into attending the event by posting throughout. And you can build connections, tell other people that you're there, mention the exhibitors, the sponsors, the speakers, other attendees that you see. One of the goals for attending events could be not just meeting new people or meeting existing contacts and customers, but to learn. So why not share any key learnings that you gather during the event and post them on social media? Take photos. Even if you're not hugely active and sharing content yourself, then monitor the event hashtag. See if there's anyone you can connect with or share their content as well. Now, very often, all of these tools I'm talking about, the before, during and after an event, could mean that you don't actually need to attend the event itself physically to get involved. And after the event, this is hugely important. This is as important as your preparation, because you don't just want to tick off your to-do list that you attended a networking event. You want to maximize that opportunity. So follow up with the people that you meet. Follow them on Twitter. Send them a message. Connect with them on LinkedIn. And always, my number one tip for LinkedIn is to personalize that connection request. Say it was great to meet you this morning at this event and you'd like to carry on the conversation. And then if one of your goals was about learning and development, then why not write a post or blog about your event experience and what you learn? Show people what it is that you're doing for your business to expand your network and to expand your learning. And I just wanted to share one example of an event I attended recently, and it was a significant investment for me, but I did my research, I had my business plan, what did I want to achieve, what did I want to learn, and where was I going to learn that in this year? And I made the decision that I would attend Social Media Week in New York and combine it with a holiday. I'd attended and spoken at Social Media Week Bristol a couple of times, so I knew that it was a conference that would have a good range of speakers and a good range of topics. And I also knew that New York was important to me and that there was a great place to go, and it would say something about my business and my learning and people that I could be meeting as well as I do some work internationally. And I had a real plan around attending this conference, from a LinkedIn post, which is the one top left, just saying I'm really excited to be in New York, attending the conference, and I've had a great first day. And you can see just, the current stats on that over 3,800 people saw that post in my feed. So it wasn't just about the people in the room with me at the conference, it was about my existing network and many prospects, because so many people, you can see 86 people liked that post. That wasn't just my first level connections, it got so much extended reach to tell people about my business, what I was doing, what I was learning, what I was working on. And yes, I did tweet my learnings throughout the 3 days of the conference as well and was engaging with people. But I also arranged in advance that I would do a Facebook Live. So on the third day of the conference, before it started, I did a Facebook Live with, as I said, I'm a She Means Business ambassador. So I organised with Enterprise Nation that I would do a short Facebook Live report on my first 2 days at the conference. And I posted that on their Facebook page and my Facebook page and shared that out. And that's had nearly 300 views. And I also wanted to blog. And while my own blogs have, I have an existing audience and would want to see that content, I contacted the event organisers. I got an intro, contacted the organisers of the conference, and was commissioned to write 2 blogs for them. And they were posted on their website and they were shared on their social media channels and on my social media channels. So this wasn't just going to a conference for 3 days to meet people and to learn and to absorb everything. It was about producing content as well and reporting back and involving my audience. And as I said, you don't need to be at an event to get involved. My audience kind of sent me messages about, how they felt that they were there and that they were getting their latest learnings and what was going on. And this week is another Social Media Week event in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, I'm not going, but I will be getting involved in the online conversation. I will be networking, even though I'm not physically there. I can still get involved in this conversation. So this is how to use face-to-face events before, during, and after, supported with social media. But you could purely use social media as a way to network, and groups I find are particularly useful. On LinkedIn and on Facebook are places that I've identified groups where my audience hang out and my peers hang out, places that I can identify opportunities, build awareness of who I am and what I do, and learn as well. So I've just picked out a couple of groups, and of course, this being an IPSE webinar, I wanted to highlight that IPSE have a group on LinkedIn with over 4,000 members where you can go in and ask questions and start discussions and contact other people. I would say that if there's any Q&A around LinkedIn groups, that yes, some LinkedIn groups aren't usually active. There's not always a flurry of activity and conversation in them, but LinkedIn are relaunching groups later this year. So I still believe it's an important exercise to find some groups, see what's going on, and if there's any discussions you can get involved in. And similarly on Facebook, I find a number of Facebook groups are useful for a variety of goals, from local business networks. I live in Gloucestershire, so there's some really great Gloucestershire groups. for some groups for freelancers, for marketing freelancers and PR freelancers where opportunities are posted. I'm involved in some groups which is about how to get PR if you're an entrepreneur, some kind of, DIY tips and opportunities get shared. But one group I wanted to flag that I particularly like, both as an author and as an avid reader, is a group that I came across called Ben's Business Book Club. And Ben posts books and people go in there and say, has anyone got any books recommended on this? Or I've just read this book and here's my review. What did you think? It's a small niche community, but there's some really nice content and some nice ideas and some real avid business readers in there that share ideas. So I network in there as well. And the reason for this webinar today is because there is a big networking event coming up that we wanted to highlight for you, and that is that it's National Freelancers Day. On the 28th of June, between 10 and 5, there is an event all day in London, followed by the awards. There are also some fringe events that you can check out on the National Freelancers Day website. I will be hosting one of the workshop sessions on social media, but there are a number of speakers, a number of exhibitors, a number of activities going on. So if you don't have your next networking event in the diary, then I would check out National Freelancers Day, which is in just a couple of weeks' time, and see if you can put some of these ideas about planning before an event, what to do during an event, and after an event into practice. And it really does change the fear. You know why you're going, you know who you want to talk to, you know how you might introduce yourself when you're there. Grab yourself a coffee and just start talking to people. So it's coming up to 5 to 1. I've put together some useful resources for social media and networking for you. One of them is a blog about how to make the right first impression. If you're not set up for using LinkedIn and Twitter just yet, I have a couple of free challenges, one for LinkedIn, one for Twitter, which is basically an email course. You sign up and then you receive an email every day for 7 days with something to do to get your profiles ready and to get started. If you're wondering how all the social media activity, how long it takes you to do, then actually last month's webinar for IPSE was about how to nail social media in 10 minutes a day. So you can watch that again, and there should be plenty of tips and tricks in there to that follow-up activity, or the preparation activity shouldn't take you too long to do. A couple of great books on networking that I found. One is the FT Guide to Business Networking by Heather Townsend, and one is Business Networking, the Survival Guide by Will Kintish. And I know that Will runs a number of networking skills sessions in Manchester and London throughout the year. And if you get the opportunity to attend one of those with Will, you really won't have any fear about going to networking events. And then finally, one last blog about don't let social media replace face-to-face conversation. And it's not lost on me that this was actually my most, and still is my most popular blog that I've ever posted on LinkedIn and my own website. I posted it almost 3 years ago, but it was hugely popular. It was received tens of thousands of visits, many comments and shares, and actually I was also asked to deliver it as a keynote at a conference face to face. That it doesn't replace face-to-face conversation. It doesn't replace face-to-face events. It's great for the maintaining and the nurturing, keeping in touch with people, but you really can't replace that tone of voice or the smiles or the nods or the chat that you get when you're face-to-face that just doesn't work so well online, which is slightly more functional and perhaps transactional. So as I said, there are 5 stages to networking. Know why you want to do it, know who you want to find, do some research on where to find them. Then you make the connections, but this maintaining and nurturing is where the social media really comes into play. And make sure that you review this time that you spend. Don't be a busy fool attending every networking event. Don't be a yo-yo networker as and when you're busy or not busy. Put it into your business development and your marketing activity plan. Spend some time on it every week if you can, and you will get results. So I did press record on this webinar so you can listen to it again. We have got some time for questions, or my contact details are on here as well. You can follow up with me afterwards. So I will just take a drink of water, and if you've got any questions, then please pop them into the box. Okay, so just one question so far, and that is about this maintaining and nurturing, and what did I mean by that? Well, this is really just about staying in front of your network. So after you've um, made that connection, whether it's to follow up a face-to-face event or because you've searched online and found someone that's in your target audience, found a conversation starter that's made you wish to instigate a connection on LinkedIn or Twitter. What do I mean by maintaining? Well, it's really just about staying front of mind. I don't want to be forgotten after we've met at an event or connected online. So I need to do something regularly just to stay in front of people and remind people what it is I do and what I'm working on. So in terms of LinkedIn, that would really just be about maintaining, updating my status update, maybe once a week or once a fortnight, just telling people what I'm working on, what I'm doing, what's coming up next, so that I remain front of mind. So if they're looking for someone who does what I do, or have been asked to refer someone who does what I do, that they'll recall me. It won't just be oh, I think I met someone at a networking event 3 months ago. I constantly want to be front of mind. So some simple update posts to stay visible is what I mean by that. Okay, another question. What tips do I have for actually finding your audience? Well, this is it kind of starts with knowing who your audience are. So if you're looking for marketers within a local region, then it may be that you identify events that they're likely to be at. So are they likely to be a member of a professional body? So they may be a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing or the Direct Marketing Association. So I would then go and look for events on the CIM or the DMA website where I might find marketers. If I'm looking for property professionals, I may be able to search. I know that in Gloucestershire we have some property professional forums, and I may go and search for those. Very often I will know my existing customers and I'll be asking them what events they attend, or people in their network what events they attend. Are there local business networking events that are often very often listed on an LEP website or a Growth Hub website? You need to know the criteria first and then basically try and work out where they hang out. Very often it is local business events organised by FSB or, as I said, the Growth Hub or local networks, lots of those, or professional associations is usually where I start as well. Any more? So it's coming up to 1 o'clock. So just a reminder about National Freelancers Day, which is the 28th of June. And my next webinar on the 9th of July is about how to use social media to find clients. I will share these slides. I'll share the resources. Hope to see you at an event soon. If you do have any questions, then please feel free to follow up with me afterwards. Thank you.